Charlie Munger, famous partner of Warren Buffett from Berkshire Hathaway and famous BYD investor, claims that BYD are absolutely destroying Tesla in China. And that's the reason, well, one of the reasons that they haven't discounted their cars there. Massive demand. Well, yeah, true and not true. Things are changing. It is true that BYD were the last holdout to discounting their electric cars in China, but now that has all changed. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. I'm the Electric Viking. Great to see you. My name's Sam Evans, and I'll be at Fully Charged live in Sydney. Love to see you there. If you want to come along, I will put a promotion code in the description below. Make sure you enter that code. You get a 10% discount. And also, I will have about 10 free tickets. So if you're interested, just send me an email. And if it's a good email, I'll give you a free ticket. I'll put my email in the description below. BYD have begun cutting their prices of their electric cars in China, which to some people is a big surprise because BYD said not only a few months ago that they had back orders of 500 to 700,000 cars, which is an astronomical number. Obviously, if that were true, it may be, then if it were though, then they would be nowhere near being in a position of needing to discount their cars. So it does seem a bit strange. I mean, 500,000 to 700,000 pre-orders, 500,000 would be a few months of delivery. However, things have begun to change. And I reported on this a little while ago when Tesla slashed the prices of the Model 3 and the Model Y in China. Some Chinese media was saying that people with pre-orders for BYD cars were cancelling those pre-orders and going and buying Tesla. Now, they didn't just do that for BYD. Apparently, it was the case for people who had ordered Neo cars, Xpeng, Leapmotor, BYD. There's a few different models, a few different brands of car where it was said that some customers, we don't know how many, some of them were cancelling their orders, and even dealerships from those brands confirmed that was true and going and getting a Tesla. And hey, if you're in China and the prices of Tesla vehicles are that cheap, yeah, I mean, ridiculously cheap. I'm not saying that Tesla's not making a profit. We know that Tesla makes their biggest profits on their cars anywhere in the world in China. Well, at least it's their lowest cost of manufacturing. Plus, then they don't have to ship them anywhere. Factory's right there in Shanghai, right? So I don't think that Tesla is making a loss on those cars in China. In fact, Tesla have actually started to increase prices, not by much, but they have started to increase prices, and their delivery windows now are getting longer. BYD's delivery windows for some of its models are getting shorter. As a response, BYD are now reducing prices for some of its cars. Now, for BYD, I'm kind of a little bit confused as to why they're doing this. Why say that? Well, you would think that BYD wouldn't be making anywhere near enough cars to meet global demand. And I really think that's true. I really think that if BYD vehicles were available at, say, 10% more than they cost in China, in Europe, in Australia, in many countries around the world, that BYD couldn't make enough money possibly to meet that demand. Now, CNEV Post says that, well, this price cut shows the challenges the electric car industry, not just the electric car industry, but the car industry, the global automotive car industry is facing in China, with wait times shortened varying degrees from last year. Now, apparently, some of the news media in China visited BYD showrooms in Beijing and Shanghai on the 24th of February, as in only a few days ago, and salespeople at one showroom in Beijing for BYD said they had received official notice of price cuts, with most models offered at a discount. Most models. That's really surprising to hear. Now, apparently, older models have been discounted by $1,440, but considering the backlog of demand that BYD has, you wouldn't have thought BYD would have that many older models just sitting around. I mean, that seems very, very unlikely. Although BYD do have a mountain of different models, so who knows which models they're referring to here. It could be anything. Now, apparently, though, even new popular models have been discounted as well, but just by less than those older models, or say like the 2022 versions. Now, for example, the price for the 2022 Han EV was cut by 20,000 RMB, which is about $3,500 US dollars. The 2021 Chin EV was reduced by RMB 15,000. But discounts on newer models range from around RMB 6,000 to RMB 8,000, so about $1,000 to $1,500 US dollars. Now, dealerships from BYD are saying these price cuts are limited to Beijing. They're expected to end in March. Shanghai and Shenzhen saw price cuts of varying degrees as well, but only about $1,000 to $1,500 or $1,000 to $2,000 actually, depending on the model. Models of BYD's newer Ocean series, meaning the Dolphin car, the Seagull, and of course the Atto 3, haven't been discounted. So the Dolphin series, they're the vehicles that BYD ship overseas. You can see here, right, those models haven't been discounted. Clearly there's enough demand overseas to easily meet BYD's production ability. Now, this is what surprised me to hear, and I'm really trying to work out what's going on here. If you know, if you're in China, let me know, send me an email. Most of BYD's best-selling vehicles, say CNAV Post, have existing vehicles in stock, and the delivery cycle for consumers' customized models have been shortened from about 6 months last year to 2 months, according to this report. But, I mean, they're saying that popular models are now in stock. I mean, I don't understand how this is possible. BYD had 500 to 700,000 pre-orders only a few months ago. This is just hard for my mind to really start to comprehend this. Now, many of you know, I had a BYD Atto 3, bought an Atto 3. It was a good car. There were some things I loved about it, some things I didn't love so much. Honestly, though, it's good value. And yes, I have sold that before I came here to Thailand, but you know, it's still a good car, and I still think there's a lot of demand for the Atto 3. I'm a bit confused here about what's going on in China for BYD. Now, BYD's NEV sales fell 35% to 153,000 in January from December, ending a 10-month streak of growth as the Chinese New Year holiday took its toll on sales, says CNF Post, but that's just clickbait because we all know that January is a very short month for the Chinese sales list. I mean, sales in January of vehicles and January and February are very, very low. That's been the case every single year for the last 56 years of car sales history in China. That will never change. So like saying that as though that's some sort of negative for BYD, it doesn't actually add up. It doesn't make any sense. It's just kind of sensationalized reporting. CNF Post absolutely loves NIO. Everything they talk about is like, NIO is the best, NIO is amazing, NIO. So they're just here saying, oh, BYD, things are going bad for BYD. That's my sort of impression here. I'm not really convinced in the veracity and the truth of what they're reporting, mainly based on the fact that they clearly get some sort of commissions from NIO, which is a bit concerning in my opinion. As you guys know, with this YouTube channel, I get no commissions from anyone. There's advertising on the channel. Probably General Motors, Ford, these guys probably don't advertise on this channel at all because I just say whatever I think. I mean, Tesla pays no money for marketing. I have no way of possibly profiting from saying anything positive about Tesla. BYD, I have no way of profiting from BYD. They don't pay anything for marketing as far as I know. They don't do any advertising on YouTube in Australia at all. So, you got to stay neutral here. CNF Post, my recommendation to you guys, stay neutral. Then people will consider your reporting to have 100% credibility. Because reading this content and sharing this, I am struggling to think that, I am starting to think maybe you guys are, having a little bit of bias here against BYD, against Tesla. Lately, a lot of your reporting has been a little bit negative, a little bit too negative, and I think maybe not completely honest. Now, CNF Post says China's wholesale sales of new energy passenger vehicles stood at 389,000 units in January, down 7% year on year, and down 48% from December, according to data released earlier this month by the Chinese government. This means that BYD's market share is astronomical. 40% of the new energy vehicle market. I mean, this market is about 80% fully electric, about 20% plug-in hybrid, and BYD have 40%. This is insane. 40%. This is the world's biggest car market by 1 million miles. 27 million cars sold there per year. Unbelievable result. On the 23rd of November last year, BYD said that starting the 1st of January 2023, they would increase prices of its Dynasty and Ocean series, as well as those in the Denza brand. So Denza brand is a brand that it was a joint venture between Mercedes-Benz and BYD. Nothing much really happened with it. It's sort of a side project, and both companies didn't focus on it. BYD ended up buying the majority of the company, and they have since created a van, which is actually pretty nice. So what this means is BYD actually increased the prices of about half of their models, but it looks as though they are now probably reversing that price increase. Will that mean BYD will struggle to make a profit this year because they don't make a lot of profit per car? Maybe, but remember, the price of lithium has just gone down by about 30%, and BYD are about to launch their sodium-ion blade batteries. Now, we don't know if they're blade batteries, but I'm assuming that there will be some version of the blade battery, possibly also a hybrid lithium iron phosphate with sodium battery. They'll be the first manufacturer in the world to mass manufacture batteries with sodium chemistry. This, in my opinion, gives them a huge advantage over almost everyone else. Now, of course, this coming from BYD, it is partially a response to Tesla reducing the price of its cars in China, to everyone reducing the price of its cars in China. Clearly, BYD are being aggressive here. I think good on them. I mean, BYD are kind of scary right now. They're kind of the fastest growing automobile company in the world, and it's got to be intimidating if you're their competition. I mean, if you're Volkswagen and China is your most important market, and you see BYD coming and taking your crown, which they already have, you've got to say, wow, what are we going to do? What are they going to do when BYD reduce their prices? Well, what are people in China going to buy? Are they going to buy a Volkswagen EV, or are they going to buy a BYD EV? Well, we know the numbers. They're buying BYD EVs, not Volkswagen EVs. This is a scary company. Whether or not they've reduced the prices by 5, 10%, doesn't change that. Doesn't change the fact that this company is also the second biggest battery company in the world. So yes, they may have reduced their prices a bit in response to possibly slowing demand, likely slowing demand, but that doesn't make them any less scary. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.